Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I'm Rockin Robbie Billups, and it's time for the weekly pop culture wrap-up. That's right everybody, I'm Rockin Robbie Billups, this is Pop Culture Philosophers, and it's time for the weekly pop culture wrap-up. It's the show where I go over the week's pop culture news, mostly comic books and movies. Let's get right into it with some comic book news. Savage Avengers. I know a lot of y'all have already seen this news. It's kind of puzzling, right? You know, when Conan first returned to Marvel, which was just a few months ago, right? But even when they first announced it like a year or so ago, everybody starts saying, well, when are they going to put Conan in the Avengers, right? And everybody's like, oh, don't worry. They haven't done it with Star Wars. They didn't do it with Dark Tower or other properties that they've had. Why would they do it with Conan? Then we got news that Conan was going to appear in the Avengers No Road Home series. And I'm like, you know what? Whatever. They're traveling through the multiverse. All right, that's fine, right? Now we got this announcement. Savage Avengers. An Avengers book with Conan. Of course. Of course. Aside from Conan being in the book, it's actually a very exciting team. The team is comprised, of course, of Conan the Barbarian, Punisher, Venom, Brother Voodoo, Elektra, and Wolverine. It looks like Wolverine's in that old school brown and tan costume. Super excited for that one. This is going to be written by Gary Duggan with artwork by Mike Deodato Jr. It seems intriguing. I'm just going to have to read it and see. Like, really, honestly, this would be an interesting Avengers team if Conan wasn't a part of it. Conan being a part of it could make it more interesting, or could make it just more, could turn you off more. I guess it just depends on who you are. That just makes me think, though, how far until we get Star Wars crossing over with some Marvel properties. I don't know. But it is out, and I'll check it out when it comes out the week it does. I believe it comes out in, like, what, is it May when it comes out? I'm not sure. Something like that. What do you think? What do you think about Conan being an Avenger? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. War of the Realms is about to hit us. It's about to hit us full force. So there are a bunch of little mini-series and one-shots that were announced. Let's go through some of them real quick. There's going to be a Giant Man mini-series by Leah Williams and Marco Castillo. This one's going to focus on a whole bunch of different Giant Men. Scott Lang, there's a Black Goliath there. I don't know if that's the old school one or a little bit of a new school one. The new school Giant Man's there. And of course, Atlas from Thunderbolts fame is going to be there. So kind of cool Giant Men against the Giants, right? War of the Realms is big Thor-centric, Avengers-centric crossover where Malekith's army has taken over and they're coming into Earth, Midgard, to take over things. So lots of different things. That could be interesting. Agents of Atlas is making a return in a mini-series for War of the Realms. It's going to be written by Greg Pak and Gang Hyuk Lim. It's got Agent Wu, but it also has a bunch of different characters that we're not typically used to seeing in the Agents of Atlas, like Silk and such. So that's a pretty interesting team. Spider-Man has a League of Realms miniseries coming up, written by Sean Ryan with artwork by Nico Leone. It seems like it's going to be Spider-Man with a bunch of different members from other realms. You know, the 10 realms were the 9 realms of Norse mythology with the added 10th realm of heaven. Well, that's where Angela from the Spawnverse is from, right? Anyway, so that Spider-Man-centric miniseries is coming out. They have already announced a few other miniseries. But what I'm really stoked for is some of these Strikeforce one-shots. There are going to be 3 Strikeforce one-shots in April. I'm really excited for this one. Dark Elf Realm, written by Brian Hill with artwork by Lionel Francis Yu. But the team is Blade, Punisher, She-Hulk, Ghost Rider, and Lady Freya. Blade, written by Brian Hill. I'm excited. I'm totally down for that one. The War Avengers by Dennis Hopeless Hallam. So I guess Hopeless was actually not his last name. So now he goes by Dennis Hallam or Hallam. I guess Kim Jacinto on the artwork for this one. This is a really neat team of Avengers. Weapon H, Captain Britain, Winter Soldier, Captain Marvel, Venom, Deadpool, Sith, and Black Widow. Surely somebody there to please you, right? Absolutely. So I'm excited to check that one out. And a Land of Giants one-shot by Tom Taylor and Jorge Molina with Captain America, Wolverine, Spider-Man, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist. Some neat little... I'm really more excited about those one-shots than I am about the other mini-series. I'm excited about the Journey in a Mystery one. We've talked about that in a previous wrap-up. So there are some War of the Realms one-shots and mini-series coming out. Second Coming was going to be a book coming out later on this year by Vertigo Comics and DC Comics, written by Mark Russell with artwork by Richard Pace. It was basically going to be about God sending Jesus down to Earth to learn from a Superman-type figure how to be a true sun god messianic type figure, right? It was very intriguing. I thought it sounded cool. Eventually, I guess some people in the general populace got a hold of the idea of the notion they started petitioning DC to cancel it. DC kind of buckled in. They canceled Second Coming. I think that's terrible. Because think about books like Preacher and The Invisibles and Transmetropolitan. Like, in this current climate, would DC ever publish books like that? And it's kind of sad because those were some groundbreaking and industry-changing books from the 90s. In today's climate, I don't know. I don't know if books like that would be published, at least by DC, possibly for sure by other companies. And that is something, a silver lining in the midst of all this. Mark Russell did say that they came to a nice agreement. DC has released the rights, and so they're going to be able to take it to another company. So we will see it. Probably Image, something like that. That could be really, really cool, I think. Absolutely. Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Part 3, the crossover series, usually written by James Tynion with artwork by Freddie Williams, is going to come back for a third volume. Very excited for this. I love the first miniseries. I even like the second one. Really excited for Part 3. That's been really, really fun. Writer Tom Taylor has been teasing this thing called Deceased. So like DC East, like deceased, but DC East, right? A hashtag deceased. Nobody knows what it is. He just shared a few images. It looks like something maybe with Trevor Hairsine on the artwork. It looks like some kind of zombie apocalypse for the DC universe. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe it's like an unofficial sequel to Blackest Night, something like that. I don't know. It doesn't seem to be leading into that way. So we really know nothing about this right now. But it's something teased, and it's Tom Taylor, and Tom Taylor's kind of on the come up right now as a writer. DC Year of the Villain was announced. It's going to be a free comic book day issue, but not quite. Just like the DC Nation Zero one-shot that they did last year that was a quarter. The basic idea is they put this book out the Wednesday before Free Comic Book Day. It's a quarter. It teases a whole bunch of upcoming DC stories. Last year we had a tease into Bendis' Superman run, a tease in to Tom King's Road to the Batman Catwoman wedding, which of course we all know how that turned out. And of course a little bit about James Tynion and Scott Snyder's Justice League run. So we're going to get something similar to that. And the idea is that with this book being so cheap and kind of comparable to the prices for retailers of the free comic book days, a lot of people are going to be giving this book away for free on Free Comic Book Day, probably. But it's going to be called The Year of the Villain, and it's going to be focusing in on some things. Brian Michael Bendis, Alex Maleev are going to have a story that's going to lead in a little bit to this Leviathan strike story that's about to hit on the Superman books. James Tynion and Scott Snyder doing some lead-ins with Justice League, Perpetua, Lex Luthor, what they're doing over there, and also a tie-in a little bit into a new unannounced Batman Who Laughs series. And Scott Snyder and company said that the end of the Batman Who Laughs initial miniseries, which is halfway through right now, is going to kind of, the ending of that's going to resonate through this one-shot and out into the second year of the Justice League title. So I'm super, super excited for that one. Also, Power Rangers at issue number 40 for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Ryan Parrott, who writes Go-Go Power Rangers, is coming onto the book to do a story called Necessary Evil, and this is going to be the story that introduces the White Ranger. So it seems, if they really want to keep their mythology straight, that when we hit issue 40, after the Beyond the Grid story, we're in the Thunder Megazord territory already. I would be really excited for that. I'd like to see a new, reimagined origin and new spin on the beginnings of the White Ranger and how that can tie into the Lord Dracon story, Shattered Grid, things like that. Some really interesting stuff, right? So movie-wise, I only got one little thing I want to talk about. That's the Aladdin trailer. So at the Grammys, they showed a little Aladdin teaser. Everybody's up in arms about the way Will Smith's genie looks. Okay, so when we first saw the first image of Will Smith as the genie, and it was just Will Smith dressed up as the genie, everybody's like, oh my goodness, but he's not blue. So now we get it, and it's that exact same thing, but he's blue, right? And everybody's like losing their mind. They're like, it looks bad, it looks terrible. I think it looks okay, I guess, for what it is. That shade of blue, I just don't see that looking that realistic. I don't know, man. I mean, I think it looks okay, but I don't know. I'm a huge Aladdin fan. I'll still watch the movie. We'll see what happens. I think Will Smith could do a great job as the genie. It does look a little weird, but I'm going to tell you this. You can't have your cake and eat it too. He's either just going to look like Will Smith or he's going to be blue, and it's just not going to look that exciting. So I mean, what's more important to you? That it's blue or that it looks realistic? I guess you just got to pick one and go with it, right? What do we got coming up here at Pop Culture Philosophers this week? First of all, tonight we got the Robbie Rants live stream, 7 o'clock U.S. Central Time tonight. going live, talking about this week's new comics, last week's pick of the weeks, and things like that. Lots of exciting news and a little bit of show and tell that I'm very excited about. Also coming up this week, we got the weekly comic book review late Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning, and on Saturday morning, we will have a review for Doom Patrol Episode 2. My Doom Patrol Episode 1 review is up right now. Seems like a lot of people are liking it. I wasn't digging on it as much as other people. I am watching through Umbrella Academy right now and loving it. We're planning on doing the whole video for the Season 1 of the Umbrella Academy, but Doom Patrol, at least for the first few episodes, I'm going to go week to week, but we'll see. Now, I know a lot of people in my review today disagreed with me, and that's fine. I have no problem with that. Everybody's got their own opinions. It takes different strokes to move the world. You know what I'm saying? And that's all good and groovy. But I will just say this as well. The first episode of Titans I thought was a little unbalanced and a little weak, but then I just got full on into that, right? So I haven't given up on Doom Patrol. I had some issues with it tonally. I think it had some missteps, but I'm still going to be checking out the next few issues, but I'm glad everybody's really responding well to it. So thank you guys so much for checking out the video. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think about Conan becoming a Savage Avenger? What do you think about that or any else of the news that I talked about today or didn't talk about? Be sure to join us tonight for the Robbie Rants live stream. Very excited to go live and chat with all of you people about comic books, movies, pop culture, and more. Thank you guys so much. Please do like, share, and subscribe, and join us at popculturephilosophers.com for podcasts, blogs, and a whole lot more. I've been Rockin Robbie Billups. Thanks for rocking with us. Keep on living. 'Cause you never had a friend like me.